Okay, so that's the end of the presentation. Okay, so hi everybody. So I'm Dr. Scharff, and tonight we are having this webinar on Firebase. So the students who are present are taking a class with me on Android development. So the slide I will present were prepared with Jan Schoepp. Unfortunately, 1 hour ago he wrote to me that he could not be here. So I had to jump in, which is not an easy task, okay? Jan is a very, very good Android developer. He developed some apps for us here at Pace, and I will talk about his work to give you some examples. So I'm more of, I do my own also development, but I'm not as proficient as Jan for Firebase in particular. So why I wanted also to do this as a presentation like synchronous, such that also some of you will be able to, in fact, see me more in real, even if it's still virtual. I wanted also that we go through some things on Android Studio at the same time, and Firebase also is really a tool that is like very, very important to know. And as you have to do a project in your course, most of you will need Firebase. And if you wait too long to cover it, it will be too late. While it's a little early, it's for sure, but however, I think that it can be, you can follow. Okay? I hope you're still hearing me. Now my screen is like, I just see my slides, so let me just check. And that's why also I wanted to do it two people together, because I wanted us to also be able to look at your questions at the same time and so on. But that's okay. That's the risk of the job. So Firebase also is a product by Google currently. It was not a product that was originally developed by Google. It's Firebase was a company, a startup, and it was bought by Google not too long ago. So we will also cover one aspect also today of Firebase, which is the database aspect, but there are much more things that you will cite also and that you can explore on your own. So introduction about Firebase. It's a real-time database with strong SKDs. It allows developers to store and synchronize data across multiple clients. So imagine you're building an app that is accessed through the web, on the desktop, through a mobile, through a tablet, through wearable. All of this is in sync, in fact. So it's really real-time databases that you will look at. It's cross-platform also. You can automatically receive updates with the newest data. We will see also that you can use in Firebase, it's also used not only for databases but for authentication. So if you have to implement authentication with Google, Facebook, GitHub, Twitter, you have support for that. It's like a very 3-4 lines of code instead of having to do it by yourself. Okay, so if you need to authenticate your users, what you will do is you don't want to write a login password screen. What you want to do will be, okay, I assume they have Facebook or Google email and they can sign in with Google and Facebook. Okay. However, I mean, it's not always the solution that is taken by companies to have this authentication with Google or Facebook. sometimes also you can have your own. It has also some advantages. I mean, if Facebook disappears, okay, then the app needs to be redesigned. You need another login page, for example. Information is stored offline after downloading and updated once online. Okay, so when you're developing a mobile app, okay, you're not always online. You're not, even in New York City, we're taking the train, and what happens? You want to post something, but you're not online, and what you want to have is that offline capability. Firebase gives you access to it. So it will queue all the updates and then push them once you have internet access again. So that's also something that is very important for mobile app development in particular. Easy setup for new users also, and it allows developers to quickly build a proof of concept. So you don't want to use, in fact, Firebase real-time databases, in apps, if you need to save data, you don't want to save your data in a MySQL database, okay, that you will have bought on, for example, GoDaddy or something like this. You really want to have a backend database that is related to mobile apps, and that's what Firebase is. Okay, you can do it. I did it in the past. My apps, 4 years ago, they were using MySQL, PHP, MyAdmin, something, and it worked. But right now, the standard is using Firebase, okay, for developing mobile web apps backend database. So, as I said, yes, Firebase was not developed by Google, but it was created by Andrew Lee and James Templin. They had a startup called Envolve in 2011. They founded then Firebase as a separate company in 2012. They raised $7 million in funding during 2012-2013 and were acquired by Google in 2014. Okay, that's the cool history about Firebase. So we are focusing on Firebase real-time databases. And yes, I just want also to mention that I'm talking right now, but then we will go into coding. So don't worry about that. So real-time databases. So let's watch this short video. So again, what is very important also, it's a NoSQL database. I hope you know what it is. If you don't, we will also mention what it is. But in databases, you have the relational database model, which is in fact based on relations, and then you have tables in SQL. So the language is SQL. But here, Firebase in the NoSQL, so you don't have SQL, but you're using JSON to describe your data. So the data are not as structured as in a DBMS like MySQL or SQL Server or PostgreSQL. Other feature, data is synced across all clients in real time, and we will have that demo when we will have the app on our phone, and we will change the database, and you will see that the data will be automatically also changed in your app, and it remains available again when your app goes offline and update once online. So that's things that are hyper important. So let's watch this short video about Firebase real-time database.
When building an app that needs to store and share data from a server, there are a lot of things that you'll need to keep in mind. Setting up and maintaining a database can be a hassle. And if you want your data synchronized in real time or need offline support, well, now you're talking some serious time commitments. But with the Firebase real-time database, you can get that time back. The Firebase real-time database lets you store and sync data between your users in real time. This makes it easy for your users to access their data from any device, web or mobile, and it helps your users collaborate with one another. Whenever you update data in the Realtime database, it stores the data in the cloud and simultaneously notifies all interested devices in milliseconds. The Realtime database is also optimized for offline use. Whenever a user loses their connection, the database SDK uses a local cache on the device to serve and store changes. This means that when the user comes back online, their local data is automatically synchronized. And how do you keep your data secure? You can use database security rules to specify who has access to what pieces of data and how your database should be structured. The security rules are securely stored with the Realtime database on our servers. So, if you want to make sure your users can only access their own data or ensure that their message is no more than 141 characters, you can do that in just a few lines of code. Getting started only takes a few minutes. The Firebase Realtime database is hosted for you in the cloud, so there's no server maintenance or operations. And there are SDKs for Android, iOS, and JavaScript. To get started with the Realtime database, check out our Quick Start, which will get you up and running in minutes. We can't wait to see what you'll build with Firebase.
So as it was mentioned, I'm just checking that everybody is still here. As it was mentioned, yes, if you're building an app with an Android app, you can use Firebase. If you're building an iOS app, you can use Firebase. If you're building a JavaScript app, you can use Firebase. Some of the students have been telling me, the best example that they found online for the use of Firebase is developing a chat system. So if you do a chat system, I mean, yes, you have data that needs to be quickly sent between one client to the other, and of course, yes, that's a very good example. Okay. Another thing that we will see, we will just mention, that we will also see and just watch the videos because you have access to the slides, is that Firebase storage. So you can store lots of things like secure file upload and download. It's robust uploading and downloading. We start where they stop. It's scalable, powered by Google Cloud Storage. So if you have images in your app, you may want to save them in the Firebase storage. Okay. If you have videos also, and we will see that. When we see the Firebase console, we will see that. There's also Firebase Analytics. So this talk is about Firebase databases, but we just wanted to tell you that too. So Firebase Analytics allows for free and unlimited analytics solution and crash reporting. Firebase authentication, as I said earlier, you can, if you want to add authentication in your app, you can use Firebase Auth, and that will make things very easy for you. It includes user management, support for different login providers. The authentication uses client-side code. So what are the pros and the cons of using Firebase? So pros are, it's an easy setup, no backend server coding needed. When we were using if you're using as I was saying earlier, a MySQL database that is on somewhere, so you're using PHP-MyAdmin or something like this, what happens is that you need to write Java code plus SQL code, and you know that's never very easy to update. Even if there are ways of removing, even if you want to do that, there are ways to removing the SQL, but it's not really easy. It supports cross-platform out of the box. Okay, you can have iPhone and Android phone accessing the same data. It's free up to 100 users simultaneously. Support for several frameworks, including JavaScript, iOS, and Android, and REST for For Ruby and Python, it's through a REST API. It's fine-tuned for security, fine-tuned security rules. So who access the data, you will see that too today, and easier testing of your app. What are the cons for Firebase? Files uploaded to Firebase are stored in Google Cloud Storage and not in the real-time database, as the RTD only supports strings. Let me just, as someone else join, let me just remove the sound. Just so welcome to our new people joining. It has the query capability are somewhat limited. Because you're writing Java, and also it depends on the API that is provided with Firebase, and it's evolving. I have to say that yes, from what was last year and this year is completely different, and it's still evolving. It's a tool that you saw is not very old. Potential data processing delays when it comes to large pieces of data. It depends on the network connection, potential issue with mobile devices with lots of in-app traffic. So also, when you're testing your app with Firebase, you must be sure you have an internet access. Okay, that's a newbie, what we call a newbie error. It can happen. So just the prices, you may look into that if you're interested for an app that is kind of big app. You can look into this. What exists outside of Firebase? I mean, when I was teaching Android like 3 years ago, I was always mentioning Parse, because Parse was a tool. Even like 5 years ago, Parse was the tool. It was the database backend for mobile apps. Unfortunately, this tool is retiring and may not be accessible after 2017. What also we can consider like a competition to Firebase is Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Services, Mobile Hub, okay, that you can look at. But really, I would say I never looked at AWS, so I looked at Parse in the past and now Firebase. So we said now we're looking more at Firebase itself for databases. So a reminder or refresher, Firebase is a no SQL database, so it means the data are stored as JSON object. And here you have what is a JSON object, as you can see here. So JSON object is plain text. So here we have a JSON object with the field users, and between curly braces the data corresponding to what is user. And then we have a list of users. We have the first user, the second user, the third user. And in one of the users is called A Lovelace, so Ada Lovelace. And here in that we have like more curly braces saying, okay, she has a name which is Ada Lovelace, and the contact is Schoepp True. Okay, so that's what will be in the Firebase database, this JSON object. So you can think of the database as a cloud-hosted JSON tree. Unlike a SQL database, there are no tables or records, only this text. So if you never saw, you never looked at JSON databases, and it's just the data is not as structured. So just look at some example of JSON online, also to be a little more acquainted with that. So when you add data to the JSON tree, it becomes a node in the existing JSON structure with an associated key. Okay, so for example, users is the key, name is the key, contact is the key. So you can provide your own keys, such as user ID or semantic name, or they can be provided for you using push. Okay, so that's a basic. I would suggest that if you're not familiar with JSON format, to look it up a little more. There's a good video on Firebase, like here it's from Google I/O 2016. Maybe there's something on 2017. We did not have the time to check that. Google I/O is a conference for developers of Google. It takes place every year in May. Before it was in San Francisco, now it's really it's in Mountain View, and that's where they announce every year all their new products and so on. It's very difficult to get in. They have a raffle to get in. I had the chance to go there maybe in 2011, I think. It was like maybe the second year of the conference. And I played the lottery. Sorry, they had a lottery to have attendees, but I never won after that. So check it out. However, they announced it around March, something like this. So what we will look at is Firebase and real-time databases on Android. So just also have your computer near you and already go to the console. So we will go there together anyway. So here I am on the console. So that's the console is console.firebase.google.com. So I suggest that you go there. So at this point, what you need to have is because you will see how to work with Firebase. To have the console open and have your Android Studio also working. Okay. So what we will do first is go in Android Studio and create a new project. Okay, Firebase sample 2. Yes, because I did Fire sample yes. And here you have the package name. So also I remind you, this name is very important because that's the name your app will be called in Google Play. So if I'm going to Google Play and I'm looking at an app, I'm going to app and I don't know, okay, Snapchat. As you can see here, it's written comp.snapchat.android. So for us here, as you can see, the app will be distinguished with that. And extended with page.chris.dev Firebase sample 2. So that will be really the name of the app, and of course this has to be unique. Okay, so I just wanted also to do some refresher for the students who are taking the class with me. So here we are at step 2. Here we have API level 19. We're covering 73.9% of the device worldwide. So we could go lower, okay, but I would say let's keep that as the minimum SDK. And if you're taking my class also, you know that I like to work with fragments. Google emphasized that we should use fragments, however, the documentation about fragments, while it's getting better, it's not 100% good. And lots of people are not using fragments. So I take this one, the basic activity. I like to see this floating button. For some reason, it looks nice. And that's, in fact, floating buttons appeared. I don't remember in what version of Android, but it's one components of material design, in fact. And next, and I will say, okay, we use fragments. We're here, so the layout will be in activity main, content main, and fragment main something. And here we are. So we have our new project, Firebase samples. So I hope you're following. I mean, until now, nothing fancy. So I will probably also close my other project so that we have only one project running. Yes, so we created all of this, as you can see. Okay, so I have main activity and so on. In the rest, I have the layout, main activity, content main activity, content main, and fragment. So what you need to keep is the name of your package because you will need it. So just copy it so that in your clipboard so that you have it. So the slide, they tell us to create a project in Firebase. So the slides are explanatory. Create a project in Firebase. And so let's do that. So what I will do is, so you're in the console, you create a new project, add a project. You see that I already have some projects created. And I will call it Firebase sample 2. The region, let's leave United States. Create project. And here it tells you, okay, so here we are now, we are in Firebase sample 2. And it asks you, what kind of project is it? Is it Android, iOS, or something else? Okay, so of course you will select Android. Just before doing that, I just wanted that you look on the left. So as you can see, we can have lots of analytics about our app. We can have the authentication. We talked about database that you will go through today. The storage is here, and you have other stuff here. Okay, that is to say that what we just said is the Firebase. Here you have everything. So a project is a container for your app across a platform. You can create your project. Okay. Now, sorry. Choose your desired platform. We will choose, of course, Android. And once open Android Studio and create a blank project for all Firebase examples. Make sure Android Studio is version 2.2 plus. And at this point, even before going further, there are different ways of doing it, okay? Now what you can do is go to Tools, and you see that there's Firebase here. So you just create your blank project, and now we will add Firebase to the project. You could do lots of the things on manually, but in fact, we have an assistant. Do you see the assistant that just opened up here? So here we have real-time databases. That's what you're looking at now. So it says save and retrieve data. So we want to connect our project with Firebase. And then it says, okay, you want to connect with your app to Firebase. Click connect to Firebase. And it says, what do you want to do? Oh, do you want to create a new project, or you want to connect it with an existing one? We created one, so we can do that here. But if we would not have created it, we can create it also from directly here, Android Studio. So there are lots of different ways to do these things. So here I'm saying, okay, let's connect. So the assistant is very handy. It tells you lots of things to do. So it's connected, so this project is now connected to Firebase. And so let's see, what does it mean? Sorry. What does it mean for us? I'm reloading this, and you see that I have here something already. Place.quiz.dev.firebase. So my Android Studio project is connected. If you have questions, also just write them in the little chat, okay? So now the next step is add the real-time database to your app. So we click here, and it will update things for you. So here also you could do it by yourself. It tells that it will update build.gradle at the project level and at the app level. So I say yes, accept changes. And so it's done. And you can you can look here. You have your two Gradle files. You have one at the project level, one at the module level, at the app level, and you can look. And so here I'm closing the assistant for now, but I can reopen it from here. And what happens here? There's stuff about Firebase here. Okay, for example. Before also we go further, I just wanted to tell everybody, if you're not used to Android Studio so much, there are different ways of looking at Android Studio. Here I'm looking at the project as an Android project, but if I just want to have the project view, okay, I can just also use the project view. Okay, so you can that sometimes you need to look at the other view. Like if you want to move files, if you want just to drag and drop files in your project, you will need sometimes to use the project view instead of the Android view. Okay. So here we are. So we have now. It tells we can use Firebase to this project. In this project, the Firebase classes and so on, because it was important. Okay, so it's a Firebase project, Android, real-time database, save and retrieve. We did step 1 and 2. Now we are going into database in Firebase directly, and that's where we will have our data saved. So as you can see here, that's our JSON file, in fact. So let's see, I can export JSON and see what is that file about. Okay, sorry. What is in this file? So there's nothing at this point. Okay, of course, yes, but that's where our JSON file, our big database will be. And here we have some rules. These are the rules to access the data, to say who can read them and who can write in that database. So for us right now, it's we give access to everybody. So in the slides, it tells us what to put to give access, complete access. So we're doing this, but however, if you would do a real app, we need to really think about who can read in our database and who can write in our database. So of course, reading is less of an issue than writing. So in the console again, here I'm removing this and I'm copying the data, and then I'm doing publish. And of course, it will tell me, oh, your security rules are defined as public. They want me to be aware of that, and I say, okay, this is now. Okay, so here, if you don't do that, you will not be able to update the data in Firebase, because as you could see before, we did not have any access. Okay, so that's done. And so no authentication, okay. And now we are beginning, so what we will do the exercise I want to do with you is the following. I want to be able to I will have a text box, and in this text box I will retrieve data from the database, and that's what will be in the text box. Okay, at the beginning it can have some data, and then it will be updated all the time. Okay, so that's the exercise we are doing. So where are we writing this code? So we need to create a text view. So we're going in the main activity fragment class. So here we need to modify it in a little. So we are in the fragment. And we need to do this because we need to write some code. Okay, we updated that code. Now we are going into the layout to add our text view. The project by default anyway has already a text view, so it's here. So from this text view, we will what we will do is add. What we need to do is add an ID to this text view, so that we can access it from. In the syntax, yes. So let's say Firebase text, okay, and I will remove this. There will be no text. I also wanted to mention something. As you can see, there's a change also in layouts in Android. Before the queen and the king, if you want. The queen layout was a relative layout, but now, in fact, they are moving to something called constraint layout. Okay, and there's some documentation on it on the developer website about how to use a constraint layout. So here we have a text view. The text view, it's wrap content. By default here we have the hello world. I want to remove that. What is on the left is parent, what is on the bottom of parent, and so on. You can check that what it means. And right now I just want, let's leave the hello world and let's run the app. And I'm running it on an emulator so that you can see what's going on. At the same time, okay, so that's the app. Just always have open, when you're running your code, have the logcat open. So here it's running. Each time I'm clicking on something happens in the logcat, in any case. So the logcat is here, very important to see what's going on. And as you can see also, there are different levels of details that you can get. So if you want verbose, it's lots of things. If you just want to see the errors, here there are no errors, so there's nothing. If you want just to see the assert, or if you want to see the warning. And when you're writing your own code and you're using log.i, it's information, it's here. Okay, very handy. And we will do that because we need to know what is going on. So right now we have, and I double click here, we have our fragment main with the text view, and now I can remove the text. So I'm going to the main fragment activity, and I want to retrieve my text view. So I will call text view tf equals fragment view dot find view by ID, and what's the ID of my text view? It's Firebase text. So here also, because some of you are taking my class and are very new to Android development, in Android Studio, what I want to say is that we need to cast here. We need to use Android Studio to its optimum. So here, for example, text view, I know where the class text view, but we need to import, and as you can see here, it tells you use Alt-Enter. I'm not writing the import. I'm just using Alt-Enter, and it should even do it automatically. Here it is, and as you can see in the import here, I have and import the text view. Yes. And I'm using also a lot the code completion. As you can see, control space. I knew that I had something beginning with Firebase and then text. So we retrieve the text view, which is great. And now we can go on with the assistant, because we want to take what is in the. We want to put data in Firebase to put in that text view. So here we have our assistant. Again, as you can see, it's in the right side here. And the next step is to to access the database. And to do that, we will copy paste that code. So now we're accessing, we need to use Firebase database, and that's what you're doing here. So as you can see here, there's a class called Firebase database. Here also we can use it because we said in our Gradle that we are using Firebase, okay? And here also I'm using Control Alt-Enter, okay, such that all the import work. So what are we doing here? We retrieve an instance of the database using getInstance, and we reference the location we want to write to. So this here is called message. The message will be the key, and the value of the message will be hello world. So you can put whatever you want as the key here, and whatever you want as the data. Okay? So here we are. That's what we need to do to get access to our database. We did that. We did access. So here we were here, write to Firebase. That's how you write to Firebase. This will set up the necessary connection to Firebase and to a reference called message. Since it does not already exist, Firebase will create it. Yes, of course, if it already exists, you will have an error message to tell you it's enough. We will set up the value on the message to be hello world. So at this point, what we can do is execute the code. We execute the code. Here we have nothing because, yes, I removed the value by default. And here we should go to see the Firebase database. And as you can see, it's here. We have message here and we have the value here. So everything works for now. And then you have here also, by the way, the value of the database URL. Sorry. So what are we doing now? So I'm following the slides, and because the slides are very good, I think. So now we want to read from the database. Follow step 5 of the assistant in Android Studio. Add the following code. This will update the text view whenever there is change in the database. Run your app on the phone in the emulator and try it out. So basically, here also I can edit this. Okay, I could edit, and I write here hello USA. And sorry, okay, what you have to do
you write hello USA, enter. Okay, otherwise the change is not taken into account. And now as you can see, there's a new data. And what if I would have my app, now I would like it to be synchronized directly and write and show hello USA. So it says that we need to use this part of the assistant. So you see that there are all visitor assistants, they help you a lot. To make your app data update in real time, you should add a value event listener. So I assume you're familiar with listeners. If you are if you want to click in your app, you remember you have the on-click listener. And here first, we are looking at changing data in the database. We are listening continuously, and then once there's a change, what we do is we change the data on our UI or something like this. Okay? So there's a method called onDataChange that is triggered when we listen and when the data is changed. So we can take this little piece of code and we can write it here. And here also we need to do some Alt-Enter to import the classes. And here, as you can see in the code, we added log. So log, it's like when you want to debug, here it's log.d. But you could put, depending on what you want to do, log.e, log here, log.w, warning, information, and so on. D is for debug. And we have tag, because that's a good practice. When you write log, what you do is here you put tag as a string, which will contain the name of your class or the name of something where you can really locate where is this log coming from. Because if you have like 15 and 50 different classes, okay, you want to know where did I write it. So what we are doing here, and I do refactor. Okay, let me see if it will give me some hints here. Create constant field tag. Yes, that's what I want to do. And in the main activity fragment, and the tag generated automatically will be the name of the class. So main activity fragment. It's here. It's in uppercase because it's a constant. Okay. And so what does it say? So we have a listener here. So as you can see here, we have an anonymous class. Okay. We could have implements value event listener here after extend. Otherwise, we use anonymous class, which is okay, which is like something we do a lot when we're developing mobile app. We're using so many anonymous classes. So the method onDataChange is here. It's executed where something changes in the data, and it's a value. What is the value? It takes the value of the thing that changes, and it logs what is the new value. Okay? And here what we want to do is like, okay, if something changes, we want to update the text field. So we want to say, okay, the text field now has a value. Text field needs to be defined as final to be able to be used in that anonymous class. So here it's updated here with final. Okay, now let's try to run this up again. Oh, sorry, there are lots of things going on here. So the log cat is here.
by default it's hello world. So let's go back because it's written hello world here. And now let's say I'm changing it to here to hola. I'm changing it and I'm going on my emulator and you see that I have hola. I'm going back here, bonjour, enter. I'm going back in the app. Oh, sorry, it's here. It's bonjour. So you can see that this is done with very little programming because I mean we are using this API which is pretty powerful. Yeah, if you have questions, just write them in the chat, okay? But yes, if you were clapping, that's fine too. What I wanted to say also is like look at the log cat here, and you remember we had this log dot something in the Java. So we have the log here also. Value is hola, value is bonjour. Okay, and as they were debug, okay, all the debugging things are here. I like to use the verbose except when I really have an error and I filter with error. Okay. So what we saw is like how to read data from the database. We also looked at how to put data in the database, but very little, because we when we did the get reference and set value, okay, and we pushed that to the database, that was done. Okay, so that's an example of how to work with Firebase. So you can, like, I hope you could go through. A quick recap on read and write. Set up a reference point to any place in your database. Use set value to set the value to any string. So here, of course, we took a JSON that is very simple. In general, it could be much more advanced. And if you want things to change in real time, because Firebase is real time, you use add value event listener, and you update the data accordingly. So I want also to show you. So that's for the little example. It's just, you know, it is the smallest example to run, but it makes you understand that sort of thing. So what I wanted also to look at is, okay, so we have an app that was called AppDoc, and now it's called AppyCafe. And just to look how it looks like, it's this app. So it was developed by Jan. That's why I said that Jan is like an expert he's an expert, in fact, in fragments and an expert in Firebase, because this app is developed with lots of thinking about not replication of code. So AppyCafe, it's an app just where we put some information to teach people how to use their phone, and we train them with that. That's our content. So it looks like this, we see we have like here we are showcasing 9 apps, and when we click on an app. Here we're showcasing some developers from Senegal, and here when you click on an app, that's what we get. So that's another fragment that is executed here. All the data of the app. There's nothing up. That's a video here we share things on Facebook. Nothing of this app is hard-coded in the app. Everything is on Firebase. So we started with an app that was where we are coding stuff, and then Jan was, in fact, he refactored the code a lot, such that there's no to use fragments so much, and then such that if tomorrow I need to update this app, the only thing I need to do is going in the Firebase console. So that's the app doc. We have two names for it. And if I go in database, this is the database for for it. So as you can see here, so it has different keys, answer, apps, developer. So if I go in apps, all my apps are defined here. There are 9 apps for now, and all the content is here. The description of the app is here. So if I change it, and if I run the app on my phone, on tablet, it will be updated directly. And here we used also the storage. So everything about the images of the app are also in. Nothing is hard coded, so we get the images from the storage. So here is our storage. And when you use the storage, you can you upload your file, okay? And then here I have the information about the file, so I have a preview, and I have here what is the file location and where is the download URL. So in fact that's what was copied in the database. Okay, you see that? The video, I think we're working on the video to see what to do with them. So here you have the logo, you see it's a Firebase storage dot something. So suggest then the app is really very modular, can be reused. Another thing I want to point out is, okay, here you see I have 9 apps, but let's say tomorrow I have 10. I can click on plus here and take my app. I say I will put 99 just so that it gets there. The value, and I click on add. And you see that now I have my app 99, which is here. Okay, I will just remove it. You have to be careful. Here I'm working with a production app, so it's a little, but I will delete app 99. But you get the idea of what is going on. Here's the developers. Maybe here app 1 is not a good name for it. We could rename it. I just don't want to do that right now. And here we have the pick, what information I'm the one who needs to add the description of or the bios of the developers. Yes. And we have answers. What was that? This was when we had at some point we had a questionnaire in the app, but we don't have it anymore. Okay. And here you could see like all these keys here, they're like randomly. If you don't give a name, it's something random that will be generated. Okay. So we use storage, we use databases. We don't have authentication in the app. I think that's all we use. So of course, this is like just to get started with Firebase. So you can like go beyond that. The documentation is quite good for Firebase, so you can look at this link and some video. There are videos by Google and so on. So that's what I wanted to show you tonight. So unfortunately, yes, Leon was not able to join. But do you have any questions about Firebase? So each time you have an app, and in the back end, think about Firebase. Don't use MySQL on the server and things like this. Just use this type of tools. Any questions? No, not one question. Okay, I don't see your question, Virante. Do you want to write a question in the chat here? Okay, write your question in the chat. You can also always write your questions in Slack if that's more comfortable. I may not able to just see them right now. So I hope you got an overview of Firebase, and with the slide you should all be able to follow the slide and install and do this little exercise, and think about what you want to implement in your projects, and do the database consequently. This talk is recorded, so you will have access to the video afterwards. So if you don't have questions, I thank you very much for attending, and we will be talking to each other very soon. Okay. Murtala, question. What guarantee to have with confidentiality of the data? Can we have guarantee on the confidentiality of the data? I mean, so first of all, you have an authentication mechanism that you are setting up in the rules that say who has access to the data. Then after, it's in the cloud. I'm not sure if you can encrypt data or not. That I'm not sure. This needs to be looked at. I don't know. Hassan, you had a question. What happens when two offline users send the same object? I mean, it will be updated. I mean, they're updated, but it's never at the same time. Concurrent access to a shared data is always dealt with locking the data. If this is my data, I want to access it, and some user one is accessing it, what happens? It's locked until the other user can access it, if there's right access. Yes. So that's what is done. You asked question for the Mac, so I'm using, of course, a PC, as you could see, but Jon is using a Mac. He's using exactly the same process as you, so I'm not sure what was your problem, Hassan. And we had a question. Yeah, we have some people joining us internationally, so thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, the storage, I did not talk too much about this because we focused on real data access, but what we did was saving the data in the images in the storage. Any limitation on the image? I don't know. I need to look up the answer to this question. I'm not sure what would be the limitation. Okay, so I got your questions. They're hidden here somewhere. So I'm happy that I could answer your questions, or some question I did not answer, but I look it up. I'm taking notes so that I'm looking it up and maybe ask Jan to follow up. That storage, yeah, it's very useful if you have apps with lots of content and content that needs to change. And you can have a person who is not at all in tech be able to update it. But you need to be careful. The interface is a little tricky, as you could see. But they made also that you have to use Enter to be able to modify the data. If you just click, it will not modify them. But once it's deleted, you know, what you can do also is always have you can export the JSON. You can work on your JSON in Atom or in Sublime Text or wherever, Notepad++, and then re-import it also. Yeah. Sorry, there are too many things open here, and it's difficult to manage. I don't know if we can encrypt the data. I need to check on that. I will let you know. Okay, so thanks very, very much for joining us today, and I hope you got something out of this presentation, and I'm really looking forward to the wonderful project that you will do with the backend with Firebase. Okay, so thank you, and tell me if everything went okay, if you like to have this type of webinars, and so on. Okay, bye-bye.